Today is Monday, April 8th. It is 4:56 a.m. I have an appointment at noon, and I have surgery on Wednesday. Hopefully that goes okay, because if not, this might not ever get uploaded. Learn to speak with compassion and love and empathy. Just because you don't understand what someone's going through doesn't mean that they are making things up or exaggerating or attention seeking. One of my therapists tried to tell me that it was attention seeking to post about your health or your mental health online, ever. No, dude, I'm trying to be transparent, because if that transparency doesn't happen, then we're just going to keep getting stigmatized. Something that I have tried to get across to people: you can't compare your pain, your experiences, your life, any part of it, to anybody else's. My third therapist as an adult, she told me there is no wrong way to grieve, and that not everybody experiences it the same way, that nobody experiences the stages of grief in order, that it's a back and forth constant struggle. And there was something going around Facebook for a couple of weeks. If you've seen it, it's the thing about the ball in the room. So it was explained as there's a room, and in the room there's a button and a ball. When grief first starts, the ball is so big that it fills up the entire room, and it's constantly pushing that pain button, and it's just always moving around. And over time, the ball very gradually gets smaller. It's still bouncing everywhere around the room, so occasionally it still hits that pain button, and the pain is still just as bad as the first time. It's still just as terrible. It just happens less often because the ball is getting smaller, and eventually you'll just have a tiny ball. The button will still be pushed occasionally, and there are still going to be random outbursts of sobbing in random places, but you're less likely to have a complete breakdown. You still hurt, but it hurts for shorter periods and farther times between. But that's kind of what I'm trying to get at. If you apply that theory to health and to chronic pain, then healthy people have a teeny tiny ball. And those that deal with chronic pain, that don't ever have a break, they have a much bigger ball. But anyway, the thing that I'm always telling people is you can't compare your pain to other pain. It applies to every area of life. Different people handle pain in different ways. But you cut off your finger, it's still gonna hurt. Does that make sense? So maybe someone who had their hand amputated, but someone who had their hand blown off, experiences the pain of the same loss completely differently. Now I think I'm getting too obscure. So I've had several people, and they don't realize the problem with this when they're doing it. But they're like, oh, I'm so tired, or, oh, I've got such a bad headache, and they're like, oh, I shouldn't complain to you, you have it worse. No, that's not the point here. The only point is that you are in pain, and that matters. So yeah, my whole body hurts. All day, every day. I am never below a 4, hardly ever below a 6 out of 10 on the pain scale. But you having a toothache, or cramps, or a small virus that's affecting your health at that time, that doesn't make it any less significant to you and to your journey. And that is what matters. That is my belief. We are each no less significant than any other person, regardless of disability, skin color, health, age, religion, sexual orientation. One individual is no less significant than any other one individual, and their pains and experiences in life are no less significant than someone else's. And that's what we all need to learn, because just because one person is healthy and is able to do all of these things doesn't mean that they get to judge someone else for being unhealthy. You know, maybe you can run a marathon. Not everyone can run a marathon. But just because you can run a marathon doesn't mean that everyone else should be able to. Just because you're an amazing cook doesn't mean everybody else will be or should be. Just because you're able to juggle your life and your experiences and still have enough energy to learn how to be happy, or to start your own business, or to work 3 jobs, or to raise a bunch of kids, to travel the world, even go hiking. Just because you take something for granted doesn't mean that everyone can. Truth bombs, yo. That sounded awkward. I've actually unfriended a couple people because they've sent me messages that said it's inappropriate that I share any of my health information to anybody. That if people want to know, they'll ask you. Well, sweetheart, if you don't like it, unfollow my page. This person had the audacity to tell me, I think that you're not taking my feelings into account. I'm like, really? You're the one who attacked me. You didn't have to watch my video. You didn't have to read my post. You didn't have to friend me in the first place. You can unfollow me or unfriend me. That's fine. She threw this big fit because I had a post that only a handful of people could see, and she didn't think it was appropriate to put on my Facebook page. Well, honey, this is my life. Just because your life has more in it doesn't mean that my life is any less significant than yours. Doesn't mean that I can't share my life because you're uncomfortable about my health. Oh, it's not just that, though. I've thought about doing this for a while. I have pretty eyes. I'm blinded. Just realized you guys were looking at my nose. I have an appointment in 6 hours.